For today, we're going to go to Tombstone, Arizona. The streets of Tombstone themselves are said to be pathways of many lingering spirits, one of which is the long-dead Marshal Fred White, who was accidentally shot by cowboy faction leader Curly Bill on October 28, 1880. While the first marshal of Tombstone had gained the respect of the Clanton gang, in fact, he had arrested many members on several occasions, rarely having any problems when doing so. In the early morning, October 28th, Curly Bill and several of his cohorts were making sport by shooting up the town. When White went to disarm the gunman, a shot was accidentally fired, hitting White. Though it was thought that he would make a full recovery, 2 days later, unfortunately, he died. Today, he's still said to haunt the street in front of the shooting site, which was an empty lot where the Birdcage Theater was built later that year. Another cowboy, that of a man moving along in a long black frock coat, has also been seen on several occasions, crossing the road. The apparition is often seen near the site where Virgil Earp was ambushed and shot in the arm, crippling him for life. The spirit never makes it across the street, leading many to believe that it may be the ghost of Virgil Earp himself. A woman in a long white dress has also been spied on Tombstone streets. One legend tells us that she was a fretful mother whose child died from yellow fever back in the 1880s. Devastated, she took her own life. But there are more versions to this tale. Another version says that she was a brothel madam who was hanged and continues to stalk the streets, searching so she can pay back her executioners. Now, it wasn't just lawlessness was the only cause of the numerous deaths during Tombstone's heydays. Twice it suffered terrible fires. The first was June 1881, and the second was May of 1882. During these infernos, which wiped out a significant business district area, where more than 40 people lost their lives in crowded saloons and brothels that burned to the ground. These long-dead suffering men are also said to make themselves known, appearing complete with drastic burns along their arms and face. Others have reported the smell of smoke, burnt bodies, odd materials, and there's still no explainable reason. Now we're going to talk about the place that put Tombstone on the map. That was the OK Corral. This was one of the spots of the best known gunfight in the Old West. You can see it portrayed in many Western films and books. But there were tension between the Earps and the cowboy faction in Tombstone for some time. Now, Marshal Virgil Earp determined to disarm the men on October 26, 1881, resulting in a 30-second shootout, which left Frank and Tom McClowry as well as Bill Clanton dead. Also involved in the gunfight were the cowboys were Ike Clanton, Billy Claiborne, and Wes Fuller. And the Earp party were brothers Virgil, Wyatt, Morgan, as well as old Doc Holliday. Today, the OK Corral is allegedly haunted by the cowboys' ghosts over the years. Several witnesses report seeing fading apparitions of men dressed in cowboy attire, often appearing with guns drawn, perhaps locked in a perpetual battle with the Earps until eternity. Others have claimed they have felt numerous cold spots and various things in areas around those. At the nearby Boot Hill graveyard, called such many things of its occupants died with their boots on. More than 250 graves give partial stories of Tombstone's lawless past, primarily from 1878 to 1884. This graveyard was originally called the Tombstone Cemetery. Men such as those killed at the OK Corral gunfight, Marshal Fred White killed by Curly Bill, an unfortunate soul by the name of George Johnson was hanged by mistake. 5 men hanged for vicious killings, labeled the Bigsby Massacre. Gunfighter Charlie Storms, who was killed by Luke Short, and dozens more, ranging from prospectors to outlaw, lawmen to prostitutes, of some of those who were laid to rest here. Their names were never known. and will only be known by a nickname. Over the years, the old cemetery fell into despair, with numerous old wooden tombstones falling into decomposing entirely, and others being stolen by souvenir hunters disrespecting the graves. It wasn't until the town's first Haldor days back in 1929, the old cemetery began to be referred to as the Boot Hill Graveyard. Still, it's continued to sit neglected until the 1940s, when an effort began to restore the cemetery. Today, it's one of the Tombstone's most popular tourist attractions, evidently because of the several legends. It also remains popular with the many dead who still lie there. Visitors often report seeing strange lights and unidentified noises coming from the old graveyard. Spirits have been spied on numerous occasions, and even frequently they are said to appear in photographs taken. Billy Clanton, killed in a gunfight at the OK Corral, is said to arise from his grave before walking along the road back to Tombstone. The Boot Hill Graveyard is just north of the Tombstone. You can find it right off of Highway 80. And just because it's called Tombstone doesn't mean the dead sleep. So if you ever passing through Arizona and looking for something paranormal, you already know where to go. So I hope you enjoy. Have a good evening.